Hello. I have tried to do this a couple of times, but it's been difficult, so I haven't. I want to do this now because I'm in the right headspace and I think I have a clear idea of what I want to say. But before I get into that, I'm just going to preface this entire recording with this is me talking about what goes on inside of my head, and it's going to be a little dark, so I guess, like, trigger warning at the beginning. So let's just kind of jump into this, shall we? If you are watching this on YouTube and you are here on my YouTube channel specifically for video games, feel free to ignore this video and carry on to the next video or do whatever you got to do. This video is not monetized because I don't think that monetizing my mental health is a, I don't know, a good time investment. I'm just not going to bother. But I need to get this out there so people are kind of aware of where I'm at. So for like many people, the last year has been really difficult for me. The last few years have been really difficult for me. I've been creating content on the internet since 2013 actively. The first YouTube video I ever uploaded technically was in 2008 on a different channel that will remain forgotten. I've been creating content on the internet in some capacity since then, but I managed to get to a point where I could start taking this seriously in 2013. Shortly after that, I ended up becoming homeless and was working full-time night shift. I had a really long commute, and I was also streaming 20 to 35 hours a week. I was always exhausted perpetually. I was not a very nice person to be around at this point, so it's a miracle that anybody watched my streams back then. But it was always a long period of time of exhaustion for me. It was years and years and years of exhaustion. I was together with my now ex-girlfriend at the time, and we got by. We did okay. I made enough with the night shift that we could survive. She always had a hard time keeping a job, so rent often fell on me. So I stuck around in a job that I really hated for probably longer than I should have. Over time, the YouTube and the Twitch channel grew. Specifically, the Twitch channel grew. And it got to a point eventually in 2018 where I could quit the night shift job after slowly rolling back my hours over time. I've always overworked myself to a unrealistic level. I've always worked myself completely to the bone where I can't continue to do anything except for work. And whenever I look at the amount of stuff I create, I always feel like it's not enough and I need to make more. Whenever I look at my stream, regardless of how long I streamed that day, I feel like I didn't stream enough. I didn't work enough. I didn't try hard enough, and I didn't get far enough. My career on Twitch has been a weird one. I've always been a channel that's just kind of been there, but never really seen any sort of wild success. Financially, I'm successful. I pay my rent, I pay my groceries, and I pay my bills almost entirely off of Twitch revenue, which is I guess a massive achievement in of itself. I'm part of a very, very lucky few. In 2019, towards the end of 2019, which was probably the happiest year of my life, I had some unknown health problems that were developing. For anybody who just watches this YouTube channel, for reference, I am legally blind. My right eye doesn't work at all, and my left eye also doesn't work. I noticed that my vision was getting a little bit worse throughout 2019. I got a new pair of glasses during that period of time. Got another new pair of glasses the year later with better prescriptions. Within 2019, I got 2 new pairs of glasses. And it was kind of scary to me, but it was something that I just kind of ignored. The end of 2018, my ex left me, and things kind of ballooned from there. That was when people stepped up to support my Twitch channel and make sure that I stuck around. And it went from being something that I was mostly surviving off of and just able to pay rent to like, okay, I'm doing okay. So I'm one of the lucky ones. When 2020 began and we got hit by the pandemic or the panini or the COVID or the Rona or whatever the hell you want to call it, I don't really care. I was one of the lucky ones. I stayed employed because I have an incredibly generous audience. But over time, something has happened. During the day, normally I'm a concert junkie. I love dive bars. I love going outside and seeing people, even if I'm not necessarily the most social person. Then something happened in 2019 or in 2020. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. My little sister is also a type 1 diabetic, and from what we can tell, it probably runs in the family to some degree. And so I spent a good few days in hospital. Some of you on the YouTube channel might actually remember it if you were following me roughly a year ago. So it's been a year of that. And over the last year, spending a lot of time alone with my brain, I have learned a lot of things about myself. One of these things is I can't keep my thoughts from just becoming mass doubt. I've spoken with a therapist, and I've talked to my doctor about this, and they suspect it's one of the several things. I'm not going to speculate too much right now, especially in a public forum, but there's a lot of things wrong with me. As time goes on and as this isolation continues, I've realized that also, I should mention that the reason my vision was getting worse was because of the undiagnosed type 1 diabetes. It causes the back of your eyes to basically bend with high blood sugar, and your eyesight gets worse. But as I was saying, the isolation that I felt has taught me a lot about myself. I'm very, very good at staying distracted. When I'm distracted and I'm working, I don't have time to slow down and think and pay attention to my head. I don't have the ability to do other things anymore. I read a little bit, I watch Netflix, I work, I go for walks, and I'm alone. I'm in my head all the time by myself. I can count on one hand the number of people I've seen in the last year, and the few people I did know either vanished along with my ex or live on the other side of the planet. I am alone all the time. And Dan's Gaming, who some of you, if you watch Twitch, may know is the emote Dan's Game, which is just kind of a little disgust face, had a quote from a couple of years ago where he said, "It's wonderful being on top of the world as a broadcaster, but it's fucking lonely up here." And this is a problem that I never fully understood back then. But I'm slowly beginning to understand it now. I love this job, and I do not want to stop streaming for anything. And I won't. I'm going to keep doing this job in some capacity forever, hopefully. And it's my full-time living, so I ain't stopping anytime soon. But what I do know is there are times where this job breaks me a little bit, especially with the status of the world right now. I know vaccines are going out. Things are starting to get fixed. I've had my first shot with no idea when I'm going to get my second one because Canada is, which is where I live, is a big question mark when it comes to supply of vaccines. We're not nearly as badly off as some countries, so I guess I have to thank my lucky stars for that one, but vaccines are hard to come by here. Heck, my grandmother hasn't had her second shot yet, and she had her first 2 months ago. So it's the amount of isolation I feel on a daily basis impacts the quality of my streams. It impacts the energy. It impacts my ability to speak. It impacts my ability to keep my brain functioning and working in a straight line. It impacts my ability to be entertaining, to be welcoming, to be kind, to be accepting, to talk to people. It makes me want to lash out and yell at people. It makes me get easily confused and perplexed by things people say in my chat, and I hate it. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever had to deal with in my entire life. This isn't a call for help. This isn't me looking for pity. It's more of hopefully a little bit of explanation of what I go through. There are times in my streams where I am noticeably irritable and upset. I've had people reference my broadcasts as being openly hostile at times and full aggro, or whatever you want to call it. And it's bad. It's something I've been trying extremely hard over the past 4 or 5 years to get better at. But recently, in the past year and a half, 2 years, I've become acutely aware of it. And it's something that I want to fix. I'm trying my best. But some things are just kind of out of my control. So this video or recording or whatever you want to call it, because there's no footage there, is just a request to be patient with me. If I say something that seems brash, I'm sorry. I don't mean it. I swear I'm a nice person. And to all of you out there who enjoy the streams I do, the Dwarf Fortress videos, or anything in between, I hope that this maybe was... it's not even an explanation because it's so difficult to relate to these kinds of feelings unless you've been here, but man, I hope one day I get to have my old sources of stress relief back. I hope one day I get to figure out why my brain acts the way it does. And I hope one day I can finish a stream and feel satisfied and happy and not immediately become overwhelmed with guilt that I didn't stream for another 40 minutes. I hope one day I can just look at a video that I uploaded and feel satisfied and happy because people like it. I hope that one day I can look at my YouTube channel and be proud of what I've built. And I hope that one day I learn how to be the best person that I know that I can be all of the time, instead of just right after my first cup of coffee when I just woke up, which is genuinely when I'm the happiest. Thank you so much to everybody who does support me in this stupid channel. And I look forward to being around and hopefully entertaining you for months and years to come. This is a weird thing. I probably shouldn't upload it, but I'm going to. Thanks for listening.